2 weeks of grind are over. There were some moments of joy. There was some moments of pleasure, but there was some moments of dread. I'm talking, of course, about community beta playtest for Gran Saga Unlimited, second community beta playtest. And in this video, I'm going to do a review on the game to show you guys what's up inside, to share with you my opinion after playing for those last 2 weeks. So if you guys excited, just please leave a like, subscribe, and let's go. So Gran Saga Unlimited is a MMO RPG created by MPIXEL. MPIXEL is basically a division of Web3 for the big Korean studio MetaPixel. If you want to know a little bit more about the game and the community beta playtest itself, you can always check it out in this link. I did a previously video or before the community playtest started, but let's dive into the game. All right, guys. So in terms of gameplay, I was really surprised. I didn't expect that they're going to be prepared that well. I didn't really have a feeling that this is a Web3 game, if in terms of how clunky usually Web3 games are at the beginning. I think it shows that Metapixel, it's basically a division of NPIXEL, and those guys have some really decent background in terms of making games, and the product that they're delivering, even in a closed beta community playtest, is already really high quality. In terms of gameplay, there's nothing really super new about this MMORPG. It has a basic storyline, although it's really well implemented in the lore, but it has those repeatable quests like go to the fields, kill 20 boars, bring 20 flowers, or gather this, gather that, come back. Then you have some raids, then you have some PvP arenas. You can also make a guilds, all those really popular features which basically you have in every MMORPG, which is fine because, well, they need to be there. Although most of the things were not really super original. So maps varied one from another, caves, valleys, forests, you name it. Typical fantasy stuff, but all well designed. I really like how they implemented UI into the game. Basically, you had like a small mobile where from tapping the B button, it popped out, and you had email. You could go to marketplace, events, party, looking for everything. I also really liked the detector. This allowed you to track all the rare, I believe, legendary and epic items drops on chain. So a lot of transparency here. That was really cool. In terms of gameplay, well, my biggest problem was the amount of grind and the repetitiveness you had to put into the game to progress, especially once you reached like level 20 to 30 and beyond. You basically had to have a party to progress because most of the XP and gold was coming from dungeon. And to successfully complete a dungeon, you had to have a party which knew what they're doing. Sometimes to find proper party, you had to spend so much time. So I remember days that I spent hours in front of instance to look for party that was available. And of course, if I would have a party with me, that would make things way easier. I was unfortunate guy that most of my friends are either US based or Asia based, and me being a European time, it's just was hard to play at the same times. But so I only wish that there was some way for solo players to get through all of this without being necessarily depending on those parties and doing those raids. There was like single player stuff, like you could take those boards, get the quests from the boards in the city, and then do those quests and get like additional experience points. But they all cost fatigue points, same as dungeons. The biggest problem was that they were constantly repetitive. They're very repetitive. Go kill 20 boars, go kill 20 mandrakes, go kill 15 small mandrakes, whatever, and then you go back. And this made those things very grindy and repeatable, and that's what I really didn't like. I wish that there was some sort of quests, more like side stories where you could, do those quests, but maybe they would be a little bit more lore based, not just typical go, yo, I need those 20 stuff from the same place you've been just last time. Go again and again and again and again. Yeah, it makes it more like a labor than a game. So this thing, I would hope that they will improve in the future. Yeah, also fatigue points was basically like you had daily 120 fatigue points, but once you entered into the dungeon, it costs around 30. So if you had a party that was not really, used to play together, or some randoms, some people sometimes left in the half of the dungeon, and you were forced to, abandon quests because you couldn't defeat the final boss or whatever. So waste of time and waste of fatigue points. You could get potions to regain them back, but then again, at those lower levels, it was not that easy and not that. It basically required you grind more to get those, so you can get another shot to enter with the people who you didn't know. So at the end, it all comes to down to having a good party, and that is a problem where you don't have a crew yet in the game. So I think introducing something for solo player that is just more interesting would be a way cooler thing to go. Okay, also, what I said, if you had a good party, the quests were really enjoyable sometimes, and the rifts varied one from another, but basically most of them demanded from you to just slay through, countless amount of NPCs, of mobs. That's it. No really anything other than that could be done better. Also, throughout the game, you could collect many different small things that then you could trade for customizable items or some rare mounts or different stuff. It did annoy me that I never could actually get something that allowed me to customize my warrior. I always got the stuff from Gunner. I always get the stuff from, but this is just raffle gods. They hate me, and everybody knows that. Although you could trade them on the market, which is cool. And if you had a feature to make them NFTs and put them into your wallet, which was also connected to through the app, that was cool. If you could do that, awesome. I think this is the way to go. All of them have really unique skills, and the animations for those skills are really nice. I really enjoyed how Slayer was presented. Mostly I was playing with Slayer. On top of that, of course, you can collect items which will boost your abilities, boost your health, and the different skills. So really something which is everywhere. I saw some really top players. They could pull off, like, for example, when I was finishing the game, my damage was 120-ish, almost 30. But I saw guys where I was on 30th level, and there was some guys that had like 600. So I guess I'm doing something wrong. Okay, guys, so overall, the game experience was good. It felt totally professional. There were bugs. Meta Pixel team, they dealt with this on a really daily basis. They were making fixes and all of this very, very fast. So this is super professional. I also really like that they were jumping in the server and having fun with people, sometimes making them bigger or smaller, or sometimes dropping some stuff, or dropping monsters to kill where they had to fight. So definitely make things interesting and building those gamer culture. Awesome. A lot of stuff to do, a lot of customizable things that you could collect, though this grinding process pretty boring in terms of gameplay. But in general, it's a solid product. And I think that if you have a party and if you have, people that you can play with, this can be definitely a lot of fun. So guys, check it out if you haven't already. And right now, they're going to close, I think, for a few months, but just keep an eye out because there might be another playtest. There might be another way to get into this game. And I think in terms of, being early, you kind of want to see what they're doing because studios are super professional and those playtests are to give them feedback so there's a lot of things that they can change in the future. There's a lot of new things that they implemented since the first community playtest, at least what I've heard. So if you guys like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and see you next time. Sometimes I question, however, am I playing a good guy? Seeing those sweet creatures that I had to put down, and I had to put down many of them. But in this game, you're playing a good guy, right?